I got my first deal. This is crazy. I said I was gonna get my first deal for 7 years and I never did it. And then the second I learned about motivated sellers, like I could just invest and buy some, it took me 2 weeks to make 25 grand.
If you're investing,
Investors.
The podcast for all things real estate investing.
So Pace, welcome to Miami, man.
What's up, brother?
Pleasure talking to you today.
Good to see you.
Pace, you know, you've inspired so many people like us. You're helping investors all across the country get into real estate using Subto and creative strategies. How does it feel making such an amazing community and such a positive impact in the industry?
You know, a lot of people ask me this because I think that it's never been done before. What we in the Subto community have built, it has never been done before. There's a lot of people that try and accomplish the same thing, but we attract people with the highest level heart, the highest level motivation around giving to each other. It is weird to say this, but I don't feel like I've accomplished it. You know, you get people like Yana, you get other people that ran the Miami meetup, for example, that you guys sponsored. Those are the people that make this community what it is. And because I never made the community about me, I made it about us. That's why it's grown and done some pretty incredible things.
So for whoever's watching this right now, what inspired you to start and how did you get into the industry?
I got into the industry because I knew real estate was the way. I just didn't know what that really meant. It was too vague. It wasn't really specific. It was just like, buy real estate, get rich. That's all I knew. And then I had a mentor actually come along and tell me that I should buy leads. Actually, like what you guys do in your business is exactly how I got into the business. Think about this, like you guys drive motivated sellers to people's business, correct? Mm-hmm. When I first jumped in, this lady that I was learning from, my mentor, she says, you don't have time to look for leads. You don't have time to cold call. You don't have time to do any of these things and find motivated sellers. Why don't we just go and spend a little bit of money and invest in buying motivated sellers? And I got my first deal. This is crazy. I said I was gonna get my first deal for 7 years and I never did it. And then the second I learned about motivated sellers, like I could just invest and buy some, it took me 2 weeks to make 25 grand.
Wow.
So what you guys are doing is magnificent. It's the cheat code for a lot of people.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, when Yana told me you guys were sponsoring the event, I was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to chat with those guys. More people need you guys. I could literally have not gotten into the business if I didn't have access to what you guys create.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy to hear that.
I'd still be swinging a hammer. 100%. I'd still be a contractor without somebody that gave me leads that were ready to talk to. Pretty incredible.
Very. And you know, a lot of people that want to start out, I know you made a video about helping a homeless woman from getting out of the shelter to getting into real estate in under 30 days, which is insane, you know. If you had to start from scratch today with nothing, you know, no money, no nothing, but your wisdom, how would you do that today?
Okay, so it's different in every, you ask me in the morning, I'll give you a different answer. Afternoon, I'll give you a different answer because there's actually 1,000 different things you could do. I did a video for Bigger Pockets a couple years ago where I actually did this challenge. And Bigger Pockets says, go make a YouTube video where you start with nothing. And I go, cool, I'll do the park bench challenge. So I sat on a park bench and I had no shoes, no cell phone, and then we started recording. And I had my videographer just follow me for 6 hours. I walked barefoot to a title company and I asked the title company, can you give me the foreclosure leads, the water shutoff leads, and I just started using their phone and I started calling people that were in foreclosure. In 3 hours, I had a contract and I had the seller come in to the title company. We signed the deal and got a deal within 3 hours with no money. The reality is you've got to use other people's resources and you got to leverage other people. Now that's one way I could do it. Another way I could do it, the problem is if you have my knowledge, that's really easy. You could just go into my free Facebook group and just buy a deal right now using creative finance, and I could raise capital for the down payment. If you removed my knowledge, I would go and probably, if somebody that's brand new, you have no money, you have no knowledge, you don't know anything from anything, I would probably go join a team. I would go into my free Facebook group and I would just go in there and tell people, I want to join a team and get plugged in. Because if you don't know the difference between a motivated seller and a not motivated seller, you're gonna take months to learn that. Yeah. And if you don't have that time, just go plug into somebody else's team and it costs you no money, you can make money right away.
That's awesome. And for our viewers, can you tell us more about, you know, Subto and different creative strategies and why that's the move for 2026?
I think it's the move since the dawn of time. I've got this really cool gift that a friend of mine gave. It's a piece of paper that's about 300 years old. And this piece of paper is the actual parchment of a farmer seller financing his farm to another buyer. And the buyer buys the farm, and his monthly payment was in beef, chicken, hay, etc. And it just shows that you can sell a piece of land, and instead of receiving money, you can receive something else, right? Barter system. Mm-hmm. It's been around for hundreds of years. I did not invent it. I built a community around it, and we dominate it, perfect it, make it efficient. But it is the only way I know that you can scale buying a business, buying real estate, or making any kind of money without any of your own money. Dude, if everybody knew creative finance, think about this too. You guys know this because you guys deal with motivated sellers. How many people actually lose their house every single year to foreclosure? Probably close to 200,000 people a year lose their house to foreclosure every year. Why? Well, because we need more people that understand creative finance that can save those people from foreclosure. I could buy that house that's going into foreclosure with no money out of my pocket, save that seller from a bad situation, and that's been going on for a long time. But if I have 27,000 people in my community and we still have 200,000 people getting foreclosed on, that means that we've barely touched the surface on how many people need to learn how to do creative finance, because there's a lot of people out there that really, really need our help.
Wow. And you talk to many sellers. For investors that are struggling to talk to sellers and convert more sellers, do you have any tips on that?
Yeah, buy motivated sellers. Like literally invest, just take money. This is how I would look at it. If I'm doing cold calling, what's more valuable? A week of my time cold calling to try and generate leads and get like 3 motivated sellers, or just go invest money and have sellers calling me? The value is just skip the line, get the sellers that you're talking to. And now when you're practicing and you're having these conversations, you're practicing with real sellers. The advantage I had when I first started is I wasn't wasting my time talking to not motivated people. I was spending all of my precious time only talking to people that were doing inbound to me, right? I'd get a text message or an email, right? Basically pay per lead. I was paying for lead, a lead would come in and these sellers were saying, I'm ready to go. Give me an offer. Meanwhile, somebody who I'm competing with is out cold calling thousands of people to try and find one person like that. That's really the cheat code. The cheat code is get rid of all the wasted time finding the motivated seller and spend all your time talking to motivated sellers.
And besides that, we have 2,000 investors.
Yeah.
What would you say differentiates struggling investors in today's era versus succeeding investors?
The amount of leads that they have, period, end of story.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah, I mean, isn't everything? Right? Everything is a numbers game, right? Basketball is a numbers game. Sales is a numbers game. My relationship with my wife and my kids is a numbers game. How many times can I be around my kids? And how many times can I bring up, positive things? And how many times can I teach them? Everything, literally everything is a numbers game. And so what I'll tell you immediately when I meet somebody new that I know is not doing deals is when somebody comes up to me and says, hey, Pace, I'm working on a deal. What does that tell me? That means they have something we call one-itis. It's a disease that new investors get where they get one lead and they focus on that one lead. It's the only thing and they don't want to ruin it. It's this perfect little thing and they're trying to baby the thing. Meanwhile, somebody else is outperforming them because they're like, oh, next lead, next lead, next lead, next lead. It really comes down to who has the most leads and who's practicing on actually motivated sellers.
I agree. And Pace, you've accomplished so much in your career.
I feel like I haven't even gotten started, guys.
That's the thing.
I feel like everything I've been doing is literally a warm-up for what's going to come next.
That's what I wanted to ask, man. It's insane. Like, you're really known in the industry. You've helped so many people on both the investor and seller side. What's next for you, and what's something that inspires you to continue growing and pushes you to that?
What inspires me is to see people in my community outperform me. Like already I've seen thousands of my members do more creative deals, bigger profits, crazier structures than I even could have imagined 10 years ago for myself. And so I'm starting to see that, but the big thing that I'm really pushing for is our community not just winning financially, but also leading the industry. So same thing with you, like you have a desire to put motivated sellers in people's hands, right? You want to make sure that you go from 2,000 investors to 200,000 investors. And when people think, I want to get into the business, you want them to think about you immediately. When people jump into the business, I want them to think about my members are the people they should bring their deals to. You should be where the leads come from. My members are where people should bring their deals to and their money to. And I want the people in my community to literally lead the industry in transaction and raising capital in their local regions and globally.
Awesome. And to wrap this up, what's one piece of advice or a quote or something that can inspire investors to really push it this year and make their dreams come true?
Okay, so my favorite quote that's really short and sweet is, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And so look at the thing that you're avoiding, which is picking up the phone, dialing. If you're avoiding it, it's probably because you just need to get motivated sellers. Go to motivatedsellers.com, my friends. Go get motivated sellers. But the work you're avoiding is literally where all that magic is, right? That next deal, that next relationship, the next 20,000, the next 100,000. That's a big one. But the biggest problem you'll have as an entrepreneur is that you're just hanging out with the wrong people, period, end of story. I was talking to a lady the other night and she has an accent. And I said, oh, English is not your first language, right? She says, no, I speak Portuguese. Cool. And I said, how did you learn Portuguese? She says, I was born in Brazil. I'm like, no, that's not why you learned Portuguese. Now, this lady was struggling with some personal things in her life and some mindset issues. And I was highlighting to her the reason she has mindset issues and the reason she's struggling and self-doubting herself and imposter syndrome is because of her surroundings. And so what I told her is I said, well, the reason you speak Portuguese is not because you were born in Brazil, it's because the people you hang out with, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, speak Portuguese. So magically, you speak Portuguese. Nobody sat down and said, all right, little one, let me teach you Portuguese. You just learned it by being around it, right? And so the best advice I could give you is whatever it is that you want to learn, whether it's Portuguese or being a successful entrepreneur, is get around successful entrepreneurs. I'm in a hotel right now in Miami. We had a meetup the other night, you guys sponsored, thank you guys so much, where we had 837 entrepreneurs. What would happen to you if you were exposed continually to 837 entrepreneurs, night in and night out, for just 30 days? What would happen to your life? Your mindset would change, your motivation would change, everything would change. And I would say the biggest problem that people have is they watch YouTube, they get stuck in Zoom land, and they get stuck watching courses. And if you want to learn Portuguese, guys, you can't learn it on the internet. You got to be around people that speak Portuguese.
I love that. The 5 people who you surround yourself with is who you are and execution, man. That's what I got from that. And Pace, I appreciate you so much, man.
Guys, motivatedsellers.com, they sponsored our event. Everybody loves them. They're doing a great job. They have 2,000 investors that are utilizing their services. 2,000 people have invested in their services. What does that tell you about what they're up to? Motivatedsellers.com. They're incredible. Go sign up. Go get some leads. That's what you need in your business.